pleasure to organize and welcome you this online event on this very important topic. I would like to thank for all of you and for your valuable time. I'm here as the General Secretary of EU-Turkey Friendship Group. I have spent most of my career dealing with international educational programs, students' mobility, higher education, internationalization, as well as academic partnership. I have worked together with many of you, and we have traveled together to Africa, England, Turkey, Central Asia, as well as the US. Our main aim in our cooperation was always to improve education access to all students around the world and create partnership for mobility. With this background and in my personal capacity, I believe that in order to take this further, it is vital that we deepen the topic and create also more partnerships between professionals, practitioners, academia, NGOs, decision makers, and the diplomatic community. And that is why we are all here today. Regardless of this current crisis, in the long run, we will return to normal state of affairs with the real exchanges being possible again. And I believe we should now prepare for this and this moment together. One of the best models promoting sustainable education and training with an aim to enhance intercultural, intersocial integrations and engagements is the Erasmus Plus program. But this is not enough. We need much more. The agendas of governments need to focus on educating the youth based on the idea of diversity. As I would like to quote, Plato wrote, the direction in which education starts, a man will determine his future. The hope for a positive future depends on promoting common values. This will prevent non-integrated migrants, hate crimes, social polarization, and growth in extremism. In other words, countries have to take more active role through concrete and practical social projects and initiatives and seek ways to enhance mobility and education opportunities. Intercultural and intersocial efforts are a vital element. The more people from different countries know each other, the more often realistic solutions will emerge. In other words, investing into knowledge of the other will bear fruit and prompt a feeling of empathy and awareness. In this context, education programs must be supported by international organizations and countries, not only in theory, but also politically, diplomatically, and economically. I am looking forward to have a very fruitful discussion with all of you today. And with this, I would like to hand over to our moderator, Murat Barış Koralp. Thank you.
Thank you, İpek Tekdemir. It was a lovely speech. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, distinguished guests, Mr. MEP and His Excellency Ambassador, Deputy Foreign Minister for Faruk Kaymakcı. I would like to welcome you all to this online event, which is hosted by European Parliament EU-Turkey Friendship Group. As it is mentioned in the title, Erasmus Plus is not taking 1 or 2 semesters abroad. It is beyond that. I never had the chance to take and do an Erasmus, which was fine, but I wish I could. Back then, when I was in the university, we had no chance but studying in our own campus, which was nice. But the thing about doing an Erasmus is it is better than nice. And all of us, I think, we can agree that we always want better in our lives. So better opportunities, maybe better environment, better life. And believe me, the concept better starts with better education, and better education is a very close friend with Erasmus Plus. Think of a person who has never been in an abroad country, and when they get this opportunity to do an Erasmus, they will see not just a different country, they will see an entire future opening before their eyes. and it's going to be totally different than they used to deal with. And the different, diverse, isn't this to be the most underlined topic for a lot of good reasons nowadays? If we get to know the ones different from us, diverse from us, we can empathize, and we need this. I believe you know this saying, and it was the motto of this famous comics and the Hollywood movie, More Than Meets the Eye, Transformers. I believe you know it. If I were to describe Erasmus Plus in just one sentence, I would say Erasmus more than meets the eye, because Erasmus Plus transforms people into something better. So, ground rules for sessions and opening remarks. You might think, oh my God, there are more than 15 people waiting to contribute to this event, but it is going to be hard to keep my mind in the game, you may think, but I can assure you that this will be the most productive event that you ever attended, because every speaker will have not more than 4.5 minutes tops, and this will force us to be as much productive as we can in our own time. And believe me, if you think no one will know, he's not going to use a timer, I can exceed my time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the warrant, I will be using a timer indeed, okay? So stick to the time, but I'm going to be the most polite person while intervening. I will warn you with a little bit of a music, which is, by the way, used as a method in Oscar ceremonies, so you can think yourselves as an Oscar-winning actor, actress in a leading role. So, without further ado, we shall get started, I think, for the opening remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, I present you Niklas Nienass. Born in Germany, he's an MEP, European Parliament at the moment. He's a member of Committee on Regional Development, called Committee on Culture and Education, the CAS delegation for the EU, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan Parliamentary Cooperation Committees, and he's responsible for the relations with Turkmenistan and Mongolia. Mr. MEP, the floor, the virtual floor is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, Erasmus is by far the most well-known program in Europe. It is the one single program that embodies the European dream and delivers on it day by day, country by country, and student by student. Erasmus brings you together with former strangers. It lets you dive into a new culture. It makes you challenge your own beliefs. It teaches you respect, diversity, and harmony. Erasmus is more than just a program. It is an ideal. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining today to discuss Erasmus in a broader way. To broaden the scope and see Erasmus not just as a way to learn a new language and as a good addition into a person's CV, but instead to understand Erasmus Plus as an idea that brings people together, that creates common understanding for each other across cultural barriers, and thus is a tool for a better, more peaceful world. In that, it is important that we increase the number of participants in the Erasmus program. It is important that not just people from the EU 27 come into the joy of Erasmus, but also students from across the world, and of course, Turkey in particular. However, we must not stop here. Erasmus has in the beginning been a project for university students. It is a good start, and it's good to start somewhere, but it is better to improve on one's ambition. That's why previously Erasmus Plus was initiated, to reach out for pupils and students from all educational institutions. And it is why we, in this period, increased the budget for Erasmus Plus to enable even more institutions and people to participate. And I personally will not stop here. It is my personal European dream that Erasmus Plus, together with the European Solidarity Corps, ESC, will one day reach every European. My wish for Europe is that one day, every small talk at a student's apartment party starts with words like, so where did you make your ESC? Or in which countries did you study so far? It's not easy to get there, and that's why we all play a major role in this endeavor. I will continue to fight for a bigger budget, for easier funding applications, and a better coverage for all institutions. But at least as important, if not even more important, are those who make projects happen on the ground. In the end, there is a lot of work that has been done or is being done by unpaid enthusiasts who believe in Erasmus to be a way to better our world. We must help them to deliver on this idea. Ladies and gentlemen, one important role we saw in the previous project is a professional help for those enthusiasts. If universities, a city or a municipality has a professional structure, basically a guide through the jungle of bureaucratic application forms, then projects tend to be more, they tend to be working better, and they tend to connect more across cultures across the border. We all must ensure that such professional guides are available for everyone who wants to start a project. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe it is our European dream to bring people together and cultures together. It is our European dream to improve the life of all and bring peace by connecting people from all over the world. But only if all Europeans, not just EU 27 member state citizens, but all Europeans participate in a European exchange program such as Erasmus+. Only if talking to others, being interested in cultural exchange and making friends in other countries is part of our European cultural DNA, only then we can say that we accomplished something great together, that we delivered on the promise to our children to make the world a better and more peaceful place. Thank you very much and welcome for today's discussion.
Thank you, Mr. MEP. It was such pleasure, and you took like 4 minutes. Perfect job. And now we are moving forward to the opening remarks. Now we have Professor Aysun by Karabulut. She's from Malatya. Let me introduce you first, Professor, and then you may have the floor. She completed her undergraduate and graduate studies at Ankara University Faculty of Veterinary Medicine. In 2011, she received the title of Professor of Medical Biochemistry. She is now serving as a rector at Turgut Ozal University, which is located in Malatya in Turkey. Welcome, Professor Aysun by Karabulut. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. This organization is very good for us, Turkey. Firstly, dear Deputy Minister and to all of the participants, I'm honored to be among you today in this program because it is very important for us to support our national and international goals and continue our work in cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, our country has reached a capacity that exceeds its limits in the field of higher education with 207 universities. Malatya Turgut Ozal University, founded with the appreciation of the President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, is one of these universities. In this regard, we would like to thank our President and President of the Council of Higher Education, Yekta Saraç, for the support in the essential works and funding of our university. Ladies and gentlemen, we carry out our educational and scientific studies with 29 academic units, including 6 faculties consisting of medicine, agriculture, social science and humanities, engineering and natural science, art design and architecture, and faculty of health science. Also, we have 2 colleges, 9 vocational college, 1 graduate institute, 11 application and research centers. Malatya Turgut Ozal University makes significant contribution to the educational, cultural, social, technological, and economic field by providing fully qualified graduates to Turkish society. So we aim to play an important and leading role in higher education to improve the quality of education with exchange students by establishing studying partnerships around the world, and to increase research activities through research projects with internationally recognized centers. In this regard, as you know, apricot is the important product of the Malatya. the Turkey, and the Turkey is the first in apricot production over the world. So we have established the apricot product application and research center. Here we have been producing scientific apricot products, probiotic apricot kernel extract, which has effect on preventing cancer. We want to continue this research in international area. To realize internationalization strategies and to become a center of attraction in the international arena, we have established a European Union Projects Office, Erasmus Program Coordination Office, and International Student Office. Our university, which has 3 ongoing Erasmus Plus KA 103 projects, has been awarded Erasmus Charter for Higher Education for the new Erasmus Plus period of 2020 and 2027. We have been working to take part in KA2 and KA 107 projects in the near future. In addition, we have project applications within the scope of the Horizon 2020 program. And in this context, we are in contact with 25 universities and organizations from America, England, European countries to make agreements and to increase our international cooperation. Dear participants and ladies and gentlemen, I also would like to give you brief information about internationalization strategic plans and objectives of our university. Malatya Turgut University has determined its internationalization roadmap in the light of the following goals and measurable parameters. Currently, our university has foreign students coming from different countries, but to increase the number of international students, making agreements with universities within the scope of Erasmus bilateral exchange program is important for us. So we will visit universities abroad and participate in international education fairs. Then we will hold informative meetings for students and lecturers to introduce exchange programs and organize international workshops, seminars, conferences in the fields we operate within the scope of cooperation agreements. Dear participants, we continue to work and produce with science, endeavor, devotion, and quality to achieve our goals. In this context, I especially thanks to Deputy Foreign Minister Faruk Kaymakcı and advisor to the European Parliament and all of the coordinator Murat Koralp and Niklas, all of the participants, General Secretary of the European Union Turkey Friendship Group, Tekdemir, and who provide us helpful support during the process, and everyone who contributed to the organization. And I send my greetings and regards from Malatya Turgut Ozal University. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Rector. You were about to get the first Oscar, but you wrapped up like in 5 minutes, so I didn't intervene. That was a wonderful job. And we are moving forward to Samuel Doverl, Vesterbye. Hello, Managing Director at European Neighbourhood Council. He served as a producer in Plus campaigns between 2013 and 2016. He was also a member of Young Friends of Turkey between 2013 and 2016. He worked as a journalist in a couple of media outlets such as Hürriyet Daily News, Mem Magazine, and Euroactive.com. So we used to be colleagues. So do you believe in this saying, once a journalist, always a journalist, Samuel?
Thank you so much, Murat, for the kind introduction. And absolutely, once you have been a journalist, you caught a bug. You are in love with the truth and you're always investigative. And that's a very positive thing because, because it's very important in general and in life.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the introduction. You reminded me of Plus campaigns and of the work that we did there in 2015 in cooperation with the EU and also with AFAD in Turkey, with the great opportunity to be able to visit the Turkish refugee camps, which at the time was very difficult to enter. And by you mentioning that, you just brought me all these very nice nostalgic memories of that time. So thank you so much. was a great experience. Now, with regards to today's event, let me first start by, of course, thanking the organizers and the really top level participants who are here. Ipek, I will start with you because ladies first and also organizers first. They're the ones who stand behind the scenes and put all the effort in here. Ipek, thank you so much, and thank you to your EU-Turkey Friendship Group for doing such a great job. I'm truly very happy to be here today. I also, of course, want to thank our participants today, and especially Turgut Ozal University and Professor Karabulut, who just spoke before, and of course, Niklas Nienass, and of course, Ambassador Kaymakcı, who's the Deputy Foreign Minister. How privileged we must be here today to be in their presence. And of course, the other participants and speakers here as well. I see also Moldovan representatives and other representatives from like James Candon and other people here. So thank you so much for all being here. I will try to be relatively brief because Niklas already and the Professor Karabulut already said such beautiful things about the importance of culture and exchange. Perhaps what I can very briefly add is having indeed worked on EU-Turkey relations from a production side, from a journalistic side, from a cultural side for quite a bit of time now, nearly about a decade. I can only say that the most important relation and the most important cementing relation between peoples is, of course, culture, exchange, research, and education. And at the European Neighbourhood Council, where I today work, we have had interns from Turkey, from Turkish universities. And I continue to say that Turkey produces highly motivated and highly qualified students who are really giving 100%. And every single time they come, and I'm referring to pre-COVID, we have seen them travel to Amsterdam, Berlin, Barcelona, Copenhagen, whenever they're here. And they really take advantage of the cultural exchange and they try to make the best of it. Now, on a slightly more serious note, the ENC in cooperation with PODEM, which is a Turkish think tank, under the EU-funded CFCU, conducted hundreds of interviews across the EU and Turkey over the last few years. And last year, we released a report on student perception with regards to EU-Turkey relations and culture and exchange and Erasmus. And we found some very relevant and important research findings, which really reflect the need for Turkish cooperation and exchange for the next generations to come. So several decades of funding, cultural cooperation, university exchange, economic cooperation has led to a very new generation of Turkish youth who are very open-minded, they're very educated, they're very motivated, and they're extremely capable university graduates, capable in terms of employment. And first of all, our research really shows young people want and deserve visa liberalization. And of course, they're looking for the opportunity to travel and they're looking for the opportunity to work abroad. This was really one of the main feedback that we got from our surveying and from our report. And secondly, our research also shows that both young students from the EU and from Turkey care deeply about democracy and about civil society. They care a lot about refugees, and they care a lot about guaranteeing a stable and economically secure future for themselves and also for their family. And thirdly, our research shows that students both from Turkey and the EU, they unfortunately, I would have to say, are well aware that the accession process is not as likely as they expect or as others may expect. In fact, we have over 90% in our online surveys who unfortunately say that the accession process is not going as they expect. However, you have the absolute majority, if not the totality of students responding that despite that, EU-Turkey relations must go on and we must find new ways of engaging each other institutionally. And here, for example, cooperating on areas like culture, horizon projects, economic engagement, customs union reform, energy, foreign affairs, diplomacy, and many other areas are really vital. I can hear some noise in the
Yes.
background. I don't know if they're politely telling me that I'm overstepping my time, but these are important areas, I think, to mention within a positive agenda and a cultural agenda for EU and Turkey. Thank you.
Thank you for wrapping up so quickly. Thank you. So you got the first Oscar, but that's a good thing. You know, that's once in a lifetime opportunity for you. Lovely speech. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution.
Thanks.
It was so nice to have you here. So we are moving forward with a distinguished guest also, James Candon. I believe he can hear me right now. He is presently a managing director in United Europe. With his team, they find answers and solutions to the pressing questions of European unity and economic. And he was graduated from University College Dublin in the field of law. His expertise is a very large one. For instance, law, energy, security, technology. We have a saying in Turkish for this kind of person, 10 fingers, 10 ingenuity. So the floor is yours, James Candon, please.
Thank you, Murat. I hope it doesn't see you on from that saying that there's an expression in Ireland that somebody is a jack of all trades but master of none. But thank you for the opportunity to speak at this. And thank you, lpek, and thank you, lpek, for the opportunity as well, and the Turkey-EU Association, Friendship Association. I'd like to sort of reference my own personal experiences in regard to Erasmus. I didn't personally actually participate as an Erasmus student myself, unfortunately, but I had a very Erasmus-like experience in the early 90s when I was a student, as you said, in University College Dublin. This is around the time, I think, when MEP Mr. Nienass was actually born. So just to put it into context of time. At that time, in the early 90s, Yugoslavia was in the process of breaking up violently. And I had the occasion during that time in University College Dublin to share for more than a year an apartment with two refugees from Yugoslavia who managed to get to Dublin and managed to study there. So what I learned from them then was to appreciate the differences and complexities of others. And it's something I've never forgot. We've been in contact ever since, Urash and Nemanja. One is still back in what was then Yugoslavia, and the other is in Mozambique, working there since then. And I've had a profound and continuing interest in all things Balkan to this day. I love to discover new aspects of its culture and its people, although I'm still struggling to understand the politics of the region. It never, ever ceases to fascinate me. And I think if it wasn't for that experience of sharing and living and breaking bread with those two people, I wouldn't have the understanding that I have now of their region. And if that's the example of me, the more people that have those experiences, the better understanding we're all going to have of each other. On the one hand, to avoid conflict, which is always a risk. Thankfully, it's a receding risk, and we want to keep it receding, but we have to continue with these programs to ensure that. But on the flip side, for the economics, we must consider how Erasmus contributes and feeds into the business world. I used to have a startup, a technology startup in recent years, and the Erasmus Plus and Erasmus Entrepreneur programs were really a huge advantage in more ways than one. So on the one hand, we had the input and support of young graduates from different parts of Europe, and that brought a completely different perspective and mindset about what we were trying to achieve. By being from other parts of Europe and by having a different culture, a different upbringing, different language, they brought different insights and solutions to the problems we were trying to solve. And we also were able to understand better the markets that we would not otherwise have been able to understand, and we were able to tap into networks that we would not have even been aware of without their presence. So it's a kind of like immeasurable elements that they bring, that this program bring, and the people involved in it bring to everyone else that they touch. You can't measure it in numbers, but it is really, really huge, and it'd be great if we could find some technology to measure that, but we must never, ever underestimate it. And for the young people in that program, that was an opportunity for them to travel and learn, of course, but also to gain work experience, because sometimes there are internship programs associated with the Erasmus Entrepreneur Program and also with the postgraduate program of Erasmus. And it made it also easy for us as a startup to have access to talent for 3 months, for 5 months. So they got their work experience and we got to benefit from the talent that they brought. Of course, Erasmus, it came into the context of coming from Ireland. I'm very aware of what has happened with Brexit, and it's really a shame. It's really disappointing, and it's really difficult to understand why Britain has decided to cease participating in the Erasmus program altogether as part of Brexit. It didn't seem to me to be necessary for them in terms of completing the Brexit and everything. It was a program that was a part, and it's something that brings great benefit to everybody and every side that participates in it. Anyway, it is what it is. I just am grateful that the Irish government has decided to continue to support and subsidise the programme for students in Northern Ireland, and it brings it back to the concept of conflict and the prevention of conflict that I mentioned earlier. But it will allow the continuing exchange of students to and from Northern Ireland, and the continuing learning and understanding of the people and the culture of a place that until very recently was deeply impacted by violent conflict. So I hope that now that the Erasmus is continuing there, that it will help to shore up the peace that has prevailed until now. So for me, the Erasmus program, I believe, has been one of the most successful. MEP Nienass referred to it as one of the most successful projects in Europe for promoting the unity, the diversity, and the competitiveness of Europe, which is what United Europe, the association that I represent, is all about. So I'd really like everybody participating in this debate and everybody who's watching it to remember unity, diversity, and competitiveness of Europe and the contribution that Erasmus brings to it. And that's it from me, Murat. So I hope I've given back some time to you.
Thank you. That was just on time. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution, James Candon. And we are moving forward again. And this time we have Cosmin Alin Popescu. He's a professor in topographic engineer and PhD in agricultural science, having an experience for more than 20 years in education. Now he serves as a rector, the Banat University of Agricultural Sciences and Veterinary Medicine of Timișoara, and he is a manager of the project West Start, through which is ensured the financing of 54 new companies created within the project. The floor is yours, Mr. Rector Cosmin Alin Popescu.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for introduction. Thank you for your presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, I'm very honored to take part in such an important event, and allow me please, on behalf of the board of the university, to greet you all and to express our best wish for all of you. I would also like to thank lpek for all her support and cooperation, and we hope to have you in our university as soon as is possible, lpek. The Erasmus program became in the last years one of the most important pillars in the internationalization of our university. Even if due to the pandemic worldwide situation, we had to readjust, refocus, and restart our engines. We had time to refuel and to reconsider at the today event itself. It's a proof that we have found ways to be together and continue our mutual international mission, education. We are a life science university, and internationalization has always been part of our university strategy, being members in several international life science organizations, and not only, and always in search of new international opportunity of cooperation. Our purpose as a public university, one of the 4 of our kind in Romania, is to become more and more visible and the international level, to attract more foreign students to study at the available cycles in our 6th faculty, or to come with Erasmus and discover our university, our city, our country, but also to develop mutual projects with our international partners, Erasmus projects, research programs, and other types of cooperation. Within the Erasmus frame, you have managed to be known in more than 280 universities at the European level and in non-European countries. We also have managed to increase and develop our cooperation with several universities from Turkey. And here, I think my colleague Raul Pașcălău, the Erasmus head of office, will give you more details. With every Erasmus partner university, we have pushed forward our boundaries, we have overpassed several barriers, and we have managed together to unite our culture and civilizations, to discover and to be discovered, to respect and to trust, to be respected and trusted, everything for a mutual purpose education. Thank you once again for this opportunity to be here with you today, and I wish you all a very successful event. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rector, for your lovely speech. And we have this pleasure to have Deputy Foreign Minister of Turkey, Mr. Ambassador Faruk Kaymakcı. He is with us now, and I will give the floor to him. But let me introduce you first, Mr. Ambassador and Mr. Deputy Foreign Minister. He is graduated from the Economics Department of the Faculty of Political Science of Ankara University. He had 2 master's degrees, one from the London School of Economics and one from College of. He worked in many directorates in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and he is now the Deputy Foreign Minister of Turkey. Mr. Ambassador Faruk Kaymakcı, we have this pleasure to have you here, and the floor is yours.
Hello everyone, dear rectors, dear member of the European Parliament, dear Mr. Candon, dear Samuel, sevgili İpek, sevgili Murat, dear participants. I would like to greet all of you from Ankara. You know, it is not easy to speak as the last speaker because everything that I wanted to say is already said. So I'm not going to explain, you know, what are the benefits of Erasmus Plus program and European Solidarity Corps. I can say that I fully agree with the member of European Parliament, Mr. Nienass. I think he has left. I think he has very well explained the spirit and the mentality of Erasmus Plus and the European Solidarity Corps program. Maybe I would like to focus from the Turkish point of view, you know, what it means and, you know, where we can go through Erasmus Plus in Turkey. You know, in Turkish, I mean, in Turkey, we the Turks keep asking the question of who is more knowledgeable, you know, the ones who study hard or the ones who travel a lot. So I can say, thanks to Erasmus, I think the Erasmus people are the most knowledgeable and the wisest people because they exchange ideas, they travel a lot, they discover different cultures, and they get rid of their prejudices because it is important. You know, when I was, you know, let's say 15 years old boy in my hometown of Tosya on the coast of the Black Sea, I thought that, you know, the world is composed of my hometown, and the biggest town was probably the province, you know, which included my district. Then I came to Ankara, so my horizon became much bigger. Then for the first time in my life, as a university student, I went to France to do a master's degree. Then, of course, I discovered that there are different nations. Of course, we read, we know, but feeling it is important. I discovered that there are other nations, there are other cultures, and we have a lot of prejudices against each other, but also we have a lot to give and we have a lot to learn from the others. So I think Erasmus is doing this exactly the way that I described, when I first came to France. So today, of course, as a candidate country to join the European Union, Turkey is also trying to participate as many possible programs of the EU. So Erasmus Plus is one of these programs. We are also in Horizon Europe, in European Solidarity Corps. So we are participating in 8 programs. In the new term, we will probably be part of 9 programs. But of course, Erasmus Plus and Horizon Europe are the most comprehensive programs with a lot of budget and with a lot of mobility. So when we talk about Erasmus, of course, the keyword, the buzzword is mobility. Unfortunately, the worst enemy of Erasmus is coronavirus, because it completely reduced the mobility. Unfortunately, last year, most of our Erasmus participants couldn't enjoy their programs, their partnerships, with other European students or, sports people, teachers, academicians, and handicapped. So it's a comprehensive program, as you know very well. So I hope that in 21, to at least in the second half, we will be able to realize all these programs which are postponed because of the pandemic. Let me share some figures with you. Among 33 Erasmus nations, Turkish National Agency, which is the implementing agency under my responsibility, is receiving the highest number of applications. So every year we receive more than 12,000 project proposals or partnership proposals from Turkey. Unfortunately, our budget is limited, so we can only meet, 1/4 of the applications. So this is also a big number, actually. If you look at the number of students, number of people, participants in the Erasmus program, I can say that so far, since 2004, up to today, we had 700,000 people. 700,000 people involved in Erasmus. 550,000 of them are Turkish citizens. And 150,000 came from other nations to see Turkey. We meet Erasmus students, both Turkish ones going to other countries and also those coming to Turkey to do Erasmus. And it's really very encouraging. When you listen to them, you can realize that how open-minded they became, how self-confident they are becoming, and how let's say they are really asking a lot of questions, and that's, I think, what we need in Erasmus. So is it the time? Oh, okay.
Yes, it is, but you may continue.
Let me conclude. So every year, actually, from Turkey, we are trying to send 60,000 people to other Erasmus nations, and as I said, we received 150,000 other Erasmus nation countries, citizens in Turkey, and I hope we can increase these numbers in the future. And I know that the future of Europe will be shaped by the Erasmus people, by the Erasmus generation, and this is why we need to work. One last issue is the visa issue. For Turkish students, it's a big issue. Even those who are accepted in some Erasmus programs, they have difficulties in getting visa in time. And of course, we are trying to coordinate with the European Commission and also the embassies in Ankara. But this is an area where we need some sort of practical solution. And I hope that this will enable our students to join the programs as quick as possible. So again, Erasmus people are the most knowledgeable people, most prepared people for the future, and I think they will shape a peaceful, stable, welfare Europe in which we will all live together and we will continue to make prosperity together. And of course, in the new era, we have to focus on green agenda. We have to focus on digitalism, and I think the new program of Erasmus will favor those projects based on digital agenda and Green Deal. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your contribution, Mr. Ambassador, Deputy Foreign Minister Faruk Kaymakcı. Such statistics you shared, 700,000 persons involved in Erasmus in Turkey. Wow, that's a great number. And before moving forward, I think Madam Rector Aysun Karabulut has something to say, something to add, and then we will take a short break afterwards. The floor is yours, Madam Rector.
Yes, thank you very much. All of the your correlation and activity very good. Because I hope this meeting will be beneficial for all participants, and I think it's important in terms of international cooperation. On the occasion of this meeting, we would like to cooperate with our university and your esteemed institution representative. We will contact with you via email or to sign agreement via lpek or Murat. Thank you very much. In this context, I thanks everyone who organized and contributed to the program, especially all of you. Firstly, our Deputy Minister Faruk Kaymakcı, thank you very much. Our European Nerving Council, all of you, thank you very much for our Rector, thank you for the organization. I think this organization continuing next time. Thank you very much. We wait all of the students because of after the COVID very bad stretch, very bad timing. It's very.
We all affected by the COVID crisis, but yeah. Let us hope the brightest, huh?
Yes. I think now very bad timing, but now after continuing time, it's very good time.
Yeah. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for being here, supporting us. Thank you, Madam Rector Karabulut. And I believe we have come to an end, but let me share you with this number. We have now more than 400 viewers on YouTube. So follow us on YouTube, continue to follow us on YouTube for this program. And we have come to an end to this opening session. Our distinguished guests who are waiting for the second and the third session can take a break, can grab a coffee, grab a tea. But meanwhile, we're going to have this special concert just for you, just especially for you. So the stream will continue with a magnificent performance from Murat Günaydın. He's a rhythm and drum artist, and he's such a good player. And there's a saying in Turkish that when we listen to a good quality music, we say, it removed the rust from my ears. So take this opportunity to listen to Murat Günaydın and grab a cup of coffee, and we'll see you in a couple of minutes, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. See you.
Değerli katılımcılar, Türkiye'den hepinize merhaba. Ulusal ve uluslararası hedeflerimizin desteklenmesi ve işbirliği için çok önemli olan Avrupa Birliği Türkiye Dostluk Grubu'nun düzenlemiş olduğu bu programda aranızda bulunmaktan onur duyuyorum. Ben Hacettepe Üniversitesi'nde ritim ve dans dersleri veren öğretim görevlisi Murat Günaydın. Sevgili İpek, benim çocukluk arkadaşım, çok eski dostum. 10 yaşında birlikte halk oyunları oynamaya başlamıştık. Türk halk danslarını dünyanın dört bir tarafında uluslararası festivallere ve yarışmalara katılarak temsil etme fırsatımız oldu onunla birlikte. Benim aynı zamanda dans partnerim. Sevgili İpek, tekrar merhaba. Seninle burada yıllar sonra bu platformda buluştuğum için çok mutluyum. Bunu öncelikle belirtmek isterim. Değerli tüm Avrupa Birliği Parlamentosu katılımcıları, sayın rektörler ve en önemlisi Dışişleri Bakan Yardımcımız Sayın Faruk Kaymakcı, sizlere bize verdiğiniz, sanata ve kültüre verdiğiniz destekten ötürü minnettarız. Saygılarımla hepinize çok teşekkür ederim. Son, 2, 3...
hosted by European Parliament, EU, Turkey Friendship Group, Erasmus Plus, Beyond Education, Connecting Cultures and Civilizations. This is the second session. If you join us just now, this is the second session. We're going to dig deep about this Erasmus Plus with our participants, valuable participants. Thank you for sparing your precious time and being here. We have now 4 participants in this session. Let me introduce you first, and then I'll give you the floor. Our first speaker will be Dr. Sorin Stamciu, and he's graduated from Dragan European University, Faculty of Law, and also of Timișoara University, Faculty of Agricultural Management. He graduated 2 masters on European Law and Agricultural Management. Currently, he is the Vice Rector on Student Affairs and International Relations and Professor at the Faculty of Management and Rural Tourism. I hope you enjoyed this performance you watched just maybe 5 minutes ago. And we have this pleasure to have you here. The floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sorin Stamciu, and I'm the Vice Rector of International Relations of Banat University of Agricultural Sciences and Veterinary Medicine, King Michael I of Romania from Timișoara. It's an honor for me to be present here today, together with all of you. And for this opportunity, I have to thank, first of all, to lpek, a very dear friend of our university and of mine too. Our goal as a public life science university is to develop partnerships and cooperations at all levels, from research to mobility, from memorandum of understanding to interinstitutional agreements, and here Erasmus Plus is one of the most important programs. We have the support of our national agency responsible for Erasmus Plus, and we are grateful for their efforts in supporting us all the time. We developed a very good network in the last years, and we extended our horizon to many continents and with some of our partners, even if we started with Erasmus Plus, exchanging at the beginning on 1 or 2 staffs. And of course, we carry on. We also developed other types of projects, and we try all the time to extend and to find new opportunities of development. In our university, because I'm also responsible for all the students, we have students from more than 20 countries, exactly 23 countries. Students registered for studies, not only Erasmus Plus students. In time, during these last years, we have learned a lot from their cultures and civilizations during their presentations or round-table events, reinforcing our idea that beyond education, especially Erasmus Plus, represents knowledge of new cultures, civilizations, and societies. As per international relations side, we have the ERO department, International Relations Office, where colleagues are responsible for different areas on the globe. So far, we have more than 280 partners all across the world, and we keep on growing and develop our network. Thank you once again for this opportunity to be here with you today, and I wish you all a very successful event. Thank you very much.
Oh, you took just 2 minutes. You may have another 2 minutes if you want, but if you don't want, we can move forward. That was a lovely speech. Thank you. Thank you for sticking the time reference. Thank you.
I will give my time to another colleague. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And we are moving forward to another precious colleague of us. Dear Dr. Munira Aminova is here with us. Let me introduce you first, and then you will have the floor. Has done a PhD in political science in Brussels, has done MBA in public service in the University of Birmingham, 2001, has done BA in business in the Tashkent State Technical University. She is specialist in the areas of governance in transition countries, e-governance, open government, and e-governance, informal networks and their influence on governance, water management, governance in Central Asia, and local government capacity building. She speaks English, French, Russian, and Uzbek. Oh, those are very difficult languages to learn, huh?
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, of course, we can hear you. You shall begin your speech.
Yes. Thank you so much. Good morning, dear ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for inviting me to this very thought-provoking discussion and conference. I've unfortunately am given only 4 minutes for this, and so I will be rather brief. I will touch upon 2 important areas that are kind of now on the agenda of higher education. One of them is the entire digital transformation in higher education that we are going through due to pandemic, and then the second one is our experience from the educational side on the receiving Erasmus Plus students and other exchange students to our programs and the impact of those students to our studies. So as you have seen, the world is now ongoing through very rapid and very strange times. Higher education has been specifically impacted, and we in Brussels, we had to move to online education within the realm of 3 days. And so on Thursday, it was announced that, on Monday, everything will be online. And we in higher education had to create systems, make sure everybody's trained, make sure everybody gets communicated, and we moved online. And it seems that this is what the future will in some ways be a reflection of what we are going through right now, also in many ways. And for that reason, we also this semester and last semester missed students, obviously, who are normally joining us at the VUB at Vesalius College from study abroad programs, where the students of ours benefit a lot from that exchange. And we also see study abroad students, Erasmus Plus students, who bring very big diversity and new thoughts, new ideas to our students. And so across the world, what we have observed as educators is that there has been a big challenge for both us as educators, but also for the students. And to be honest, especially for undergraduate students, what we have seen is that they have not felt the difference and the transition from the school and when they moved to higher education. They have not seen the new building, they have not seen the new friends, they have not seen and experienced the new type of education. So it is still the same desk where they're sitting when they were sitting in the school time, and suddenly now they are logging into the same computer and suddenly they are in the university. So this transition we are trying to manage, we are trying to create environment so that they feel themselves in higher education. But this obviously is a challenge from both educational point of view for us, but also from the social point of view for the students. And so the students, for instance, they don't have any interaction possibility. They don't have a possibility to go for a coffee, to go to the library, to stroll around the campus. So they don't have those options. So we believe that we need to invest even more in this and to understand the social areas of how we will be dealing in the future with the student integration and change. And in this regard, we have also seen that the European Commission have pledged 100 million euros for enhancing digital education online, and I'm sure our colleagues now from the national agencies will talk about that after me. So that is also a very bold statement and a move for us, where there will be an investment, and we will have to further investigate of how we can integrate the new realms into our education process. And second area that I wanted to touch upon very briefly, of course, is all the joy and the fun and the diversity that the Erasmus Plus students bring to our campus, to our students. Because we see as soon as they join at Vesalius College, where I teach, we have half of the students, slightly less than half, who normally join from different study abroad programs. And this year we have been slightly deserted because we don't have a single student who is joining from study abroad programs. And so we see that transition from the moment this new student walks into the building, very open, because change makes them very open, especially since they are also very young to absorb the new cultures, absorb new information. And what we see is a big transition and transformation of those students who join us for one semester. Now, we have different experiences that I see. Some of the students, they want to go terribly back home. Some of them, they want to stay for another semester. But that is what is clear is for all of them, it is a great educational experience, a great cultural experience. Either they go back and appreciate what they have at home, or they appreciate what they see let's say in the new educational institution. They make a lot of friends, they make networks, and that they are more confident and more open-minded when they go back to their educational institution. And so I think the benefit of Erasmus Plus is undeniable for the education process in general, and the idea of having every third European student to participate in this program is a very plausible idea from my point of view. From the Turkish students, we have already also received a number of Turkish students, both as Erasmus Plus exchange students, but also as interns from TOBB University, for instance. And I also agree with colleagues who have mentioned before me that they are very diligent. They thirst for the knowledge and thirst for the new things to learn and absorb, and then bring back to their country and implement it to their country. Is great that we see such a fresh energy when students come and join us from Turkish universities. So this is very shortly my take, very small take. Mr. Murat, if you have any questions, you can also tell me. If you want me to continue, I can also continue for a while.
Let us just stop here because you had like 7 minutes. We exceeded our time. Yes, it was a lovely speech, by the way. We want to learn more, but we have to give the floor to the other participants as well, as you can imagine. And we now moving forward, but we can come back to you whenever you are available. So we are moving forward with this another precious colleague, Popa Nicoletta. Let me introduce you first, and I will give you the floor. Is a higher education projects expert, was born in Bucharest, bachelor in political sciences, bachelor in international relations, master's degree in communication. She oversees Erasmus Plus mobility and strategic partnership projects for higher education in Romania, and has been representing the national agency in the European Commission's working group. It's lovely to have you here, and the virtual floor is yours, not the real one.
Thank you very much for the introduction, but I do have to admit that it belongs to my colleague Mihai, because we are here together to represent the national agency. So the first half is his introduction, but the later half is about me anyway, to be here together with colleagues. And all together in the past, let's say 3 academic years, there have been a few thousand mobilities being organized, both for students as well as staff mobilities that teaching staff or administrative staff have benefited along the time. And the most important thing perhaps is that these mobilities have, of course, covered both ways. So there have been many participants going from Romania to Turkey, and also participants coming from Turkey to Romania. And to be honest, seeing how many universities in Romania are open to cooperation with Turkey, I can just say perhaps that there are more than half out of 70 higher education institutions in Romania. More than 55 send mobility participants to Turkey, and more than 65 receive participants from, let's say, based on partnerships with Turkish institutions and organizations. And this is quite successful. I mean, there is a lot of openness, there is a lot of availability for cooperation, and hopefully we will see this even more in the years to come. But of course, mobility is not all in Erasmus+, and we also have many opportunities concerning strategic partnerships. And so far in higher education, of course, we have seen let's say, projects that are coordinated by Romanian institutions as well as Turkish institutions, but many other projects where such institutions from both countries are, let's say, joining together as partners and working on developing study programs, tools for better learning, digital tools. Of course, this is one of the key, let's say, priorities in this, let's say, in the last few years, but even in the coming years, it will continue to be. So there is a lot of room for cooperation, and hopefully, even though the last year, 2020, has brought many challenges in terms of organizing physical mobility and strengthening cooperation between institutions in different countries. Let's hope that in time we will overcome these challenges with support, with creativeness, with an open mind to finding solutions and to implementing them. And we will again see a rise in mobility and international cooperation. And we are looking forward to this in the coming years. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, of course, we are open to discuss.
Thank you. Thank you for your lovely speech. It's been like 5 minutes. Perfect job. Perfect covering about this.
Borrowing 1 minute from the Vice Rector.
Okay, no problem. That won't be a problem. Thank you. Then we are moving forward. We have lots of precious participants here. That's why I'm rushing a little bit. So let me introduce you, Mihai Gaiculescu. Am I pronouncing it right? If not, forgive me. Is higher education project expert as well. He has been working on Erasmus Plus mobility project since 2016. He has gained 2 bachelor degrees in political sciences and international relations and a master's degree in communication as well. He has professional experience and advisor to the Credit and Scholarships Agency in the Ministry of National Education, such as CV. The floor is yours, Mihai. And again, forgive me if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly.
It's okay. Thank you for the introduction. I'm about to talk about the future of the Erasmus Plus program. As we all know, communication, diplomacy, and international relations are more important than ever and continuously adapting. Although we feel the hardships of being enclosed, not being able to travel or working remotely, opportunities arise and self-improvement mustn't be left aside. Since the pandemic began, as a national agency, we analyzed, adapted, and eventually overcame most pandemic-related issues by using all accessible online tools and to keep in touch with each other, beneficiaries and stakeholders. Planning events and activities online, working remotely, and fulfilling tasks while respecting health and safety regulations are the only means of moving forward. All current Turkish-Romanian collaborations will continue as planned, but we're looking forward to discovering and implementing the changes of the future program together as well. In the end of 2020, an agreement between the European Parliament, EU member states in the Council, and the European Commission was reached. The 2021 program guide will be published this March, so we're looking forward to it. The 2021 future Erasmus Plus program will take place in a more digitally oriented world while remaining united in diversity. For sure, it will be more inclusive, more accessible, and more sustainable than ever. The main pillars of the future program are digitalization, social inclusion, and sustainability. By 2023, Erasmus Without Paper and European Student Card initiatives should be fully operational, and the timeline has been set to this extent. Online learning agreements will be mandatory by the end of 2021, interinstitutional agreements by the end of 2022. Automatic recognition, perhaps one of the most difficult follow-up tasks regarding student mobilities, will come into place in 2023. During the past year, we already recommended early testing and implementation of IT tools to all our beneficiaries. This should provide the European Commission the much needed feedback for continuous improvement of IT systems and tools. On the other hand, digitalization could also contribute to national economic growth through increasing economical competitivity. By 2025, the Erasmus Plus program is set to play a major part in creating the European education area. As a means of fighting the pandemic and stimulating participation in mobilities, blended mobilities were introduced and are being used at this time. Secondly, new types of mobility are about to be introduced in the future program. Blended intensive programs, short-term physical group mobilities, short-term mobilities for doctoral students, or virtual exchanges in HE and youth. All these share an online period, like online courses. Digitalization should also increase accessibility, thus making the program more appealing and more inclusive. We could speak of inclusion through digitalizations as participants with special needs or those coming from disadvantaged backgrounds could participate more easily. Change, opportunity, evolution, future. The new Erasmus program will continue upholding its active contribution towards the internationalization of higher education, and students will carry on being ambassadors of their own countries while participating in a mobility abroad. Keep in mind that virtual mobilities and the online environment are not meant for replacing physical mobilities, but for reinforcing them. The intercultural experience is just as important as the practical component in learning or teaching. Nothing could replace or replicate living abroad, improving language skills, and adapting a different culture and way of life. Last but not least, we hope the future collaboration between Turkey and Romania will only deepen for creating a better, brighter future for us all. Thank you.
Thank you for your cooperation. Thank you for contributing this online event, which is hosted by EU Parliament, EU-Turkey Friendship Group. Such a lovely speech. I have a lot of questions for you, but I don't want to exceed my time. Maybe just one question. How many international students do you currently have in all the university? You have this kind of statistics?
About 1,000 students each year, around 10,000. I'm not sure, but this is the 90% accurate number. Nicoleta, could you help out, please?
Yes. Are you asking about all Erasmus Plus participants?
Yes,
or?
indeed.
Yes, well, we have around 7,000 outgoing participants every year going from Romanian universities to other universities. But in terms of incoming students, there is a slight imbalance, meaning that we have less, around 3,000, 4,000 students coming to study or do a traineeship mobility in Romania every academic year. I hope that perhaps answers the question. These are, of course, general figures covering all program countries. And I would also add even partner countries, which we also organize mobilities with.
Well, thank you. That was the exact answer I was expecting. Thank you. Thank you for all joining us this online event when we have more than 500 people watching us on YouTube. Come and watch us, continue to watch us. And we are moving to the third session now. And there will be a short break, like 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes tops. And then we'll see you in this online event again. Thank you for contributing us. We're back, we're live in this special event, online event, which is hosted by European Parliament, EU-Turkey Friendship Group. We are digging deep about Erasmus Plus here with our precious colleagues here. And we have now 4 speakers in this third and last session. We're gonna begin with Marisela Dragan. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Let me introduce you first, and you will take the floor. Has been a foreign language teacher for over 15 years with a bachelor's degree in English and French language and literature, and a master's degree in applied linguistics and English language teaching. Miss Marisela Dragan. That I said it the right time. That I said right this time. The floor is yours. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for allowing me the opportunity to be here. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Well, first, before diving into my little presentation, I would like to tell you that I myself was an Erasmus student, and I found such great benefits from the program that after I graduated from university and became a teacher, immediately I chose to coordinate an Erasmus project for my own students. It was such a great experience that I really wanted to share it with my own students. Now, today I would like to tell you about the importance of foreign language learning for Erasmus Plus students. Now, it has been generally agreed that the study of a foreign tongue improves the knowledge of one's own language. Along with this, learning a foreign language teaches and encourages respect for other cultures, as it fosters an understanding of the interrelation of language and human nature. Foreign language study creates more positive attitudes and less prejudice toward people who are different. Research has shown that analytical skills improve when students dive into a foreign language. And because I am a foreign language educator, and we are talking about research, the most recent study conducted in Ireland in 2020 on the impact of foreign languages in the context of Erasmus Plus in all education sectors has emphasized on the benefits of foreign language learning while taking part in an Erasmus Plus mobility. Now, generally speaking, the study highlights that the use of a language does not refer just to a general ability to speak it, but rather involves a combination of ability, opportunity, and a positive attitude. And all these factors are actually great contributors to any Erasmus exchange program. And for the ones who have participated or coordinated such projects, they know what I'm talking about. Now, some of the key findings of this research pointed out that Erasmus Plus programs, number one, facilitate an engagement with other languages in a more informal and unregulated setting, shifting the focus from an exam-based learning culture to a communicative one. And we can see this as a very positive thing. Now, secondly, it can lead to reduction of what we call language anxiety. And there is an increase in learners' linguistic confidence, including even a willingness to make mistakes. Number three, these Erasmus Plus programs increase the likelihood of participants working in an international context or seeking opportunities abroad. Also, they can have a fundamental impact on the social and cultural integration of minority groups. Now, you're going to tell me that this might be all theoretical, but it's not, because most importantly, this research has showed that taking part in an Erasmus Plus mobility fosters a sense of communicative empathy, even when the participants do not speak the local language. Yeah, so the experience helps them understand the difficulties of the communicative gap and highlight the part that they have to play in bridging it. Yeah, so students learn that language is not a barrier, but actually a bridge to a new culture. It is a unique opportunity for them to discover their qualities, their strengths, and their limits. And by interacting with people from other cultures, they can form an opinion of who they truly are and the culture they belong to. Now, as an educator, I always like to tell my students that, to encourage them to study foreign languages, that one language sets you in a corridor for life, but two languages open every door along that way. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your lovely speech. It reminded me that when I came to Brussels, I had no idea about talking French, but I immediately started learning French. And nowadays, I can express myself in French, and it is a very fruitful thinking that I can capable of speaking 3 languages, and it is a wonderful thing. It is a wonderful feeling that you know that you can express yourself in a foreign language. Thank you for your lovely speech. And we are moving forward without any further ado. We are now with Dr. Laura Szmulak. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. Let me introduce you first. Is an environment engineer holding a PhD in agricultural science. She's a senior lecturer at the Banat University of Agricultural Sciences and Veterinary Medicine of Timișoara, and in the Sustainable Development and Environmental Engineering Department, and also a Vice Dean for Research at the Faculty of Agriculture. We are now pleased to announce you that Dr. Laura Szmulak is with us in our online event. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Dear Szmulak, Vice Dean for Research and Erasmus Coordinator at the Faculty of Agriculture, Office and Equality Responsible within International Relations Office at Banat University of Agricultural Sciences and Veterinary Medicine, King Michael I of Romania from Timișoara. It's an honor to be today with you, and I really hope to see you in my university at our international conferences and symposiums as soon as it will be possible. In our university, at all the 6 faculties, we have had along the years many exchanges of students and staff, either teaching and training mobility, outgoing or incoming, covering all the continents, increasing the number of participants and also the number of the partners. What we have learned from these exchanges was that every mobility, outgoing or incoming student or professor, has brought in our university a part of their culture, a part of their tradition from their country. We have a lot of international events here within the Erasmus frame, such as intercultural Erasmus evening or international Erasmus staff, when the participants have the opportunity to present their university, their city, and their country, getting us a glimpse of their universe, their culture and civilization, religion and habitats, landscape, and so on. I believe that Erasmus, it's not only about study, it's beyond education. Because also in our university, we have a lot of scientific events as multidisciplinary conference on sustainable development, which is in May every year, and also student conference, young people and applied sciences research, and here a lot of researchers and students and teachers are united by mutual goals, and above the main academic purpose, there is also the interaction side, which is a wonderful one. So far, before the pandemic context, every event had usually its social part, a dinner gala, where people used to exchange ideas and socialize, get to know each other better. Last year, 2020, was a hard year for everyone under the pandemic situation, but our events continues to be, even it was there were online. I want to mention one, namely internationalization nowadays. Was in 9 of May, Europeans Day. We have participants from 20 countries for all the countries. The situation, how can we adapt, and also ideas for the next future project. Because I mentioned the project, I have to say that our university was involved in some different projects as capacity building in the field of higher education or European university. Some colleagues of mine wrote articles, research articles with Erasmus colleagues. Our students also are not going in study mobility, they are choose for training mobility, and they come back with more competencies like a better level of language and more skills. I believe that every participant in Erasmus, it's an ambassador of their university, their culture, and their tradition. My own intention is, together with my Erasmus and International Relations Office colleagues, to carry on our mission, to develop the new partnerships and to maintain the existing ones, and also try to extend their dimension beyond education. Thank you very much.
Thank you for this lovely speech. And we have online viewers, more than 500 people. That's a good thing. That's a job well done. Thank you for your speech. And without further ado, we are moving forward again with precious Mr. Dr. Raul Paschalau. Let me introduce you first. Is the Erasmus Plus Institutional Coordinator at the Banat University of Agricultural Sciences and Veterinary Medicine of Timișoara, also sworn translator and interpreter for English, French, and Romanian, English, and French, with more than 13 years of experience in translation and interpretation. We are pleased to have you here, Mr. Raul Paschalau, and the floor is yours. The virtual floor is yours.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'm very happy and in the same time honored to be together here with you. And of course, as all my colleagues said, I have to thank you, Ipek, because we have known each other for a couple of years, and we maintained the cooperation, and so far we have brought it to another level. The title, Erasmus Plus Beyond Education, Connecting Cultures and Civilizations, it's a real one, because Erasmus, as my colleague said, and it's a known fact, is not only about the academic side of the mobility, either for students or teachers, staff or trainship mobility, training mobility, teaching mobility. Erasmus Plus, it's getting in touch with the civilizations and the cultures of the participants. We all here have in our universities at the 6 faculties 6 colleagues, Erasmus departmental coordinators, and every time we have a mobility from a partner country or a program country, somebody's taking care of him or her. But we have mutual events, the intercultural evenings, the international staff weeks that my colleague Laura mentioned. There are great opportunities to know the other's country, the other civilizations and culture. We have overtaken sometimes from our participants a lot of things. We have learned about their gastronomy, their music, their dances. Once we had the intercultural Erasmus evening with a presentation of meals and of music and dancers. So yes, Erasmus connects people, connects cultures and civilization. Our university started to grow a lot in this field of internationalization through Erasmus. And as our rector said, Erasmus and internationalization is part of our strategy. We have managed to develop our partnership and decrease the number of partner countries. For example, in Europe, we have almost 280 partner universities from program countries. But for partner countries, we raised up our performances, and this year we had a successful project with 46 non-European countries, 87 universities from all the continents. We are trying to develop not only Erasmus ICM credit mobility, but also other projects, research projects, for example, projects within the field of environment, projects regarding the green Erasmus. We are trying to bring in the future as a strategy for our program, green Erasmus. Everything we are trying to do it green, because we have our faculties within the Faculty of Agriculture. We have environmental in French, we have agriculture in English. So we have programs related and friendly with the environment. Why is important for us to be connected in so many countries and so many continents? Because internationalization is worldwide. It's a horizon and it's like the sky, it never ends. So we are trying to do our best. And now coming back to Turkey, Turkey is one of the partners with the highest number of universities. We have 28 partner universities in Turkey. We have universities in Istanbul, Ankara, Akdeniz, RCS University, Bingöl University, Kayseri University. We have students, incoming students from all these universities. In fact, in 2-3 weeks, we are waiting our first incoming students for the second semester from RCS University. Of course, everything is possible due to the help of our board, the board of the university, and especially the support granted by the national agency. So that would be a short overview of our Erasmus activity. I could mention the countries, the partner countries, if I still have time. So we have Algeria, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, Morocco, Tunisia, Taiwan, Kenya, Tanzania, Philippines, Thailand, China, United States, Mauritius, Mozambique, Ivory Coast, and another 10 or 15 non-European countries, which are partners with us in the current, in the upgoing project. That would be all for today from my side. Thank you so much, and that was a lovely event, and I think it's good to be connected regarding Erasmus Plus and internationalization. And we are waiting to become partners with our speakers of today, because we have no agreements with them, and of course we are extending our network. Thank you.
Okay, I hope that this event helps to expand your partnerships with another university or with another country as well. Thank you for your lovely speech. Last but not least, we have this honor to have here Mr. Dr. Mehmet Göktürk İplikçioğlu, is a vice chairman of the board in Poland-Turkey Business Association. He is chairman of the board in the Polish-Turkish Culture and Solidarity Association, and he is also presently CEO in Univerna and general director in Unisedu. He has PhD in international development from the University of Vienna. He speaks 4 languages. I admire you: English, German, Polish, and Turkish. He worked in the projects of development through education, Çorlu, Tekirdağ, development through education, Taşlıçay, Ağrı, and many others. We have the honor to have Mehmet Göktürk İplikçioğlu here.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me. I didn't test my sound before, so I hope it's everything well. So thank you for this great event and for your invitation. So I will not take more than 5 minutes, to be sure. I just messed the time, so it will be just a few minutes. So yeah, the global higher education landscape has dramatically impacted and changed in the past few months due to the spread of the coronavirus, as we all know. Not only the international higher education sector is impacted, also the exchange programs like the Erasmus Plus program. Thousands of students couldn't use their chances to be part of Erasmus program and also couldn't be part of an internship program abroad. So we have every day some mails from students. They are asking what to do because they are willing to come, especially to Poland where I'm living also and investing. So normally Poland is, let's say, a home for Turkish Erasmus students, but lately this year it's changed a bit. So we have lately no Turkish students here coming for an internship last few months. So students have been dramatically impacted by the spread of coronavirus, from travel restrictions to social distancing, isolation measures, quarantines, campus closures, and border closures. So we hope soon everything will normalize. So multicultural and multilingual classrooms have become the norm in many educational settings. Or other speakers also mention it. It's a very, very important aspect. So throughout the world, due to changing immigration patterns caused big globalization. So subsequently, understanding in the role that culture plays in the classroom is essential to effective teaching, learning, and communicative interaction in general. So international students means multicultural and multilingual classrooms, which builds understanding and interaction at the same time. So the biggest benefit through internationalization of the higher education is the support of globalization and the cultural understanding, for sure. We can basically say we create the future's ambassadors, future leaders with a global mind and wide understanding. So, and this is unfortunately not something that we can be achieved with an online learning. We saw it. So online learning replaced some of the lessons, but it can never replace an international higher education studying abroad. So I hope after COVID, we will be able to reestablish this communication again. I would like to point out how important the role all the participants have played here today. We had the university professors, vice deans, lecturers, and language experts. So basically, everyone who is somehow in an interaction with international education. I think these types of events will make the connections and projects stronger. Before I finish my words, I would like to state that we are going through a very difficult period. We must be stronger and we have to do a good teamwork because we are the ones who will keep this tie strong. So, and of course, I would like to thank especially Mrs. İpek Tekdemir for making such an important meeting happen. So thank you once again for your great work, and I hope to, like all the speakers mentioned, I hope to see you face to face. I hope we will be all in the same room soon. So and we will normalize our international meetings again. So thank you very much for this great event, and thank you for your invitation once again.
Thank you for your lovely speech, Mr. Mehmet Göktürk İplikçioğlu. I believe we have come to an end, but the important thing is we saw that the important thing, the most important thing in a person's life is education, and education is when it's supported with Erasmus Plus, it gets better, and that's the key. I think we can all agree that Erasmus Plus is beyond that. I said in the first session that it is more than meets the eye. And thank you for your contribution to this lovely event. We have come to an end, but I would like to take this opportunity to thank you all, especially Mrs. İpek Tekdemir. Many thanks to İpek, who organized this event. She is one of the most talented persons I've ever met in my entire life. I can clearly say that gathering more than 15 people in this online event is not an easy job. I believe, I know this. Believe me, this is not an easy job. You handled it very well, and thank you for letting me moderate this event, and hope to see you again in a short period of time on other online events. Thank you all for contributing this event, which is hosted by European Parliament, EU, Turkey Friendship Group. Thank you, and hope to see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Dear Murat, I would like to also just enter, and it was a bit spontaneous, and after all this, such a lovely words, and I would like to also take this opportunity to, it's a pleasure, and it was and will be always pleasure to organize such events and bring all my contacts in the such important issues. And once more, I would like to thank all of you for your valuable time. And regardless of this current crisis, in the long run, we will return to normal state of affairs with the real exchanges of being possible again. And I believe now we should prepare for this moment together. And thank you again. And I would like to also highlight also send my greetings to our interns from Turkey and also from Italy that who made this event possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.